Joining me right now from Turkey is Aboud Dandashi Author, Syrian, I'm sorry, displaced person, originally from Homs, currently in Istanbul. Good evening. Thank you very much for talking with us.
Hello, good evening.
So explain to me, really, because I'm trying to understand what is the difference between the coalition and the national opposition. I'm trying to understand what are the differences between these two groups.
Well, the actual difference is actually pretty irrelevant. I mean, Syria is definitely a country in desperate need of a political solution. It's in need of a political class that can solve the issues that's facing it. Unfortunately, the political opposition in Syria hasn't really, over the past 4 years, gotten past the stages of conferences. In contrast to the armed brigades and the armed groups in Syria, who over years have adapted and consolidated and now are making real gains on the ground and who are actually overshadowing any political moves outside of the country.
Mr. Dandashi, what made them, let's say, a new group, let's call it, wake up right now? After 4 years, hundreds of thousands of people are dead, are massacred. What made them wake up right now? Somebody is losing something in this group that they understand that maybe now it's the time to act after 4 years?
Well, this was long overdue. There have actually been a lot of attempts. There have been a lot of such attempts to actually consolidate the Syrian political opposition and to make it into a viable entity that could actually solve Syria's problems. Unfortunately, it hasn't really reached beyond the stage of conferences, as I mentioned before. In war, you reach your objectives by using weapons. Post-war, if you don't have a political class to guide the country, you will still use weapons to resolve your differences, and the result is Libya. So, of course, Syria is a country that desperately needs a political solution, a political framework, a political entity to serve as an alternative to the regime. But unfortunately, as we've seen in the past 4 years, we really haven't gone to that stage yet.
Mr. Dandashi, with everything that is happening right now in Syria, with the opposition, with what is happening with Assad, with the Islamic State, how can you reach, and if you're seeing it from your perspective, how can they reach something of a political framework agreement that can reach to some kind of an understanding?
As hard as it may seem, as improbable it may seem, the country has no other choice. No one armed group can impose itself on Syria. It's not possible. Neither the regime nor those in opposition to the regime can impose their will on the whole of Syria. You need to come to an accommodation in the end, and that accommodation will have to come through a political framework. And this is what these conferences of Syrian opposition groups should be trying to achieve. We hope that they eventually get to that stage, but it is a step which has been long overdue.
Yes, unfortunately, what you're saying is that probably we'll see a lot of people getting more and more killed and more massacred in Syria. Mr. Dandashi, thank you very much for this.